Figure 3 accident site. This was an aerial view of the accident site allegedly taken by a drone by the Air Accident Investigation Branch. The time you will find in my earlier video where I showed you a photograph of the times from the Air Accident Investigation Branch. Now I've already demonstrated to you that the track coming out to the wreckage, the wreckage track and this track across the field appear in this June 2011 Google Earth image, and that they're not permanent tracks on the field. Now if you enlarge the image of that wreckage, what you're actually looking at is an out of scale forward section of a tricycle undercarriage aeroplane. What you have here, you will see a pointed red spinner. You've got the bottom of the engine cowl here, it's pointing towards you. Top of the engine cowl here, the cockpit's being cropped off there. You've got the right hand wing coming out, and you've got the right hand undercarriage leg coming down there. There's a black square in there for some reason. Now, in that picture, you should see quite distinctly this, the Mustang lying on its right hand wing. It's a very distinctive profile, isn't it? Look, engine, that's the outline that you should see in that picture. Now look at the healthiness of that tree. We're told that the plane struck that tree, there was a flash fire. Incredibly healthy, isn't it? Lush, vibrant green. The greens in this picture suggest springtime greens, don't they? Which would correlate with that Google Earth image from June 2011. This has been constructed partly using that Google Earth image. Right, we'll move on now to figure 4, the trees that was allegedly struck by the plane. If you enlarge this image, you will find blocking here. Someone has been editing around where this bark's missing, and to create a red like tannin effect, because when bark is torn from a tree, you will find that you have strands of red tannin. Now I've examined that tree in great detail and photographed it. That is the tree there. Now the adjacent tree is suffering from a disease called sudden oak death, resulting in bark detachment, splits developing in the trunk. Now you have the same features here on the tree that was allegedly hit by the plane. That image again. Now let's start looking at the soil workings again. A power harrow or a sea drill towed behind the tractor. These drill lines here overlap these ones considerably. You can see where that's been edited into the picture, or the farmer is utterly incompetent in ploughing a working field. And if you take the radius, the turning circle, that piece of equipment behind the tractor, it takes it into the hedge, beyond the hedge. A farmer would not work his field like that. I'll show you some more about that in a minute. Other features, you've got 11 foot 6 diameter propeller, revolving at thousands of RPM, hits a tree. It's clinically clean here, isn't it? No shattered bits of branches. That's a picture I took where a farmer had been trimming his hedge with a hedge trimmer. Look at all the shattered bits of wood. There's nothing there, is there? There are no burnt branches, no burnt leaves, but we're told there's been a flash fire. Now look how scraggly and scrawny the tree is there compared to in that picture there. Look at the amount of branch on top of the hedge there, compared to there, and then in the other Air Accident Investigation Branch picture. Look at it, the amount of branch on top of that hedge compared to the crown of the tree. There's no correlation, is there? Back to the field workings again. Now a farmer working his field would keep well short of what's called the headland, that's the hedge, go up and down, and then he'd finish off by going this way. You'd have workings like that. And the piece of equipment he's towing behind his tractor would obscure his tractor marks. And once again we have tractor tire marks in this picture, which again don't really make any sense unless he's been spraying his crops with a pre-emergent or something after he's drilled. So those are the main features there. Oh, the other feature is, look how the soil goes right up to the hedge. Well, it doesn't at that location. This is that actual hedge line there. This distance from here to the centre line of the hedge I think is about 2 metres, and the farmers do it so it gives something for wildlife. And notice how the soil is banked up here. It doesn't come right up to the hedge. Now Why would you edit the soil? This surface, textured soil surface like that, is the perfect surface on which to fabricate and plant imagery. It's textured. Now, I believe, my thought is, at the time of this accident, 2nd of October, if the farmer had sown winter wheat, which he does in this field, there would have been shoots already projecting. And that would be very difficult to make those look like they've been trodden down, etc. So I believe that's why this field has been put into this condition. I think that's enough for that picture. The only other, oh no, we've got this picture here. This is the final tire track and final tire mark and impact tree, which is over there. Now this picture was taken on the Tuesday. Now the number one priority of an air accident investigator arriving at an accident scene is to preserve perishable evidence. So maybe he takes fuel samples, oil samples, etc., or he photographs perishable evidence such as tyre marks and skid marks. Now there's no staking here. You'd expect an air accident investigator to stake that, to warn people it's there and to help with plotting. There are no stakes. Look at the width of the tyre track compared to the width of the tree. You can very easily recreate that using Photoshop. Now, a professional air accident investigator I don't think would even want to tell you that he took a picture of perishable evidence on a Tuesday. And everything about this report indicates to me that the person who contrived it is not a professional air accident investigator, and that they don't even have the basic understanding of aircraft structures. Right, the other picture is the spectrum analysis of video audio. What strikes me very unusual is that it suddenly sweeps up at a very sharp angle here. Now graphs normally flow, don't they? It's to an abrupt change of angle here. I believe this is contrived as well. Everything else is. If there's anyone with specialist knowledge of this analysis, this type of audio, I'll be very interested to review this and to see what they say. Right, the other thing I wanted to mention was the tailplane. We're told this tailplane was torn off on this line here. Now that tailplane is a one-piece tailplane. The spars run from tip to tip, and it is attached to that fuselage with 4 bolts. Now once again, it doesn't seem much, but it doesn't need to be much because those bolts are taking a tension load. It's either bending up or it's bending down. It's not designed to take a shear load from this direction. Now imagine if that tailplane struck the tree. That would have just been, it would have just been ripped off. The whole of the tailplane would have been ripped off, and the fin. It would never have failed by just slicing through there. If that had been a Spitfire tailplane with a stub spar, then it may have failed at that point. That whole tailplane would have just been wiped off. Now, you see, also, think about what we're told allegedly happened. We're told that the left-hand wing was torn off when the plane hit the tree. So once the left-hand wing was torn off, all that is supporting that fuselage and that engine to that wing are just 2 bolts. All that weight there is just being attached to that wing with 2 bolts. It could never have happened. Could never have happened. Right, I think that's all I want to say now about the Air Accidents Investigation Branch Bulletin. I find, the more I look at this, the more I find. You'll probably find things that even I haven't spotted. So what we're going to do in the next videos, I will start taking you through all these media images that are falsified. Once I've done that, I will then take you through this video that appeared and that is also falsified and acts as a rebuttal to all my allegations and evidence that I've presented to you in the Air Accidents Investigation Branch and the still images of the accident.